Lieutenant Commander Maya Reeves had seen her share of hostile environments, but nothing compared to the fury of Nevera's ice storms. The diplomatic mission to this distant moon had started routinely enough. Establish relations with the Ketheri, a cold-adapted species who'd claimed this frigid satellite decades ago. Nobody had predicted the atmospheric disturbance that would turn deadly within minutes. All personnel, immediate evacuation, crackled Director Harlow's voice through Maya's comm unit. Storm system has accelerated. I repeat, all personnel to emergency transport. Maya scanned the compound's perimeter one last time. As head of diplomatic security, her job was ensuring everyone reached safety. The readout on her wrist computer showed all human personnel accounted for, but a flashing amber indicator caught her attention. One Ketheri life sign was moving away from the compound. Director, we have one Ketheri still outside. Ambassador Velarix. Maya squinted through swirling ice crystals that already obscured visibility beyond 10 meters. Signals moving toward the eastern ridge. The Ketheri delegation has already departed on their vessel, Harlow responded. All diplomatic personnel are accounted for. Maya frowned. Then whoa. She checked the biometric signature again. The signal was weakening. Someone's out there, sir, and they're in trouble. Reeves, that's an order. Board now, or we leave without you. Maya's jaw tightened. 20 years in service, and she'd never disobeyed a direct order. But the weakening life sign pulsed like a fading heartbeat on her display. I'll take full responsibility, sir. Commencing search and rescue. She silenced her comm before Harlow could respond and activated her thermal gear to maximum output. Even with advanced protection, she had maybe 40 minutes before the cold would begin shutting down her body systems. Following the signal led her across fractured ice fields toward a series of jagged ravines. The wind howled through the narrow passages, carrying particles of ice that cut like microscopic blades against any exposed skin. Maya's breath fogged inside her helmet as the temperature dropped precipitously. The signal led to a narrow crevasse, barely visible beneath drifting snow. Maya anchored herself and peered down. There, nearly camouflaged against the blue-white ice, lay a Ketheri form. Even from above, Maya could see this wasn't an ambassador or official. The simple garments marked her as staff, perhaps a cultural attaché or junior diplomat. Maya descended carefully, anchoring pitons into the ice wall. When she reached the bottom, her sensors registered ambient temperature at minus 78 degrees Celsius, deadly even to the cold-adapted Ketheri. The alien woman lay curled into herself, her silvery blue skin almost translucent. The Ketheri had humanoid forms, 2 arms, 2 legs, a face with features recognizable to humans, but their evolutionary adaptations to cold were evident in their crystalline hair and the delicate ridge patterns along their limbs that increased surface area for heat retention. Maya pressed 2 fingers against the Ketheri's neck, searching for a pulse. Nothing. Then, just as she was about to pull away, she felt it, the faintest flutter beneath the skin, so slow and weak it barely registered. Hey, Maya whispered, gently turning the Ketheri's face toward her. Can you hear me? No response. According to everything Maya knew about Ketheri physiology, this woman was beyond saving. Their bodies entered a terminal hibernation state when core temperature dropped too low, a point of no return. But something in Maya refused to accept this. She activated her emergency beacon, knowing no one would likely come until the storm passed, then unfolded her thermal blankets and wrapped them around the Ketheri woman's body. With practiced movements, she deployed her emergency shelter, barely large enough for 2, and sealed them inside. I don't know if you can hear me, Maya said, pulling the alien woman close against her, skin to skin where possible, but my name is Maya Reeves, and I'm going to get you through this. Outside, the storm raged with increasing intensity. Inside, against all odds, Maya felt the faintest stirring of breath against her neck as Velarix's body began to respond to her warmth. Inside the emergency shelter, Maya monitored Velarix's vital signs with growing concern. The Ketheri woman's pulse remained dangerously faint, her crystalline hair dull and brittle. Maya knew the basics of xenophysiology, but revival from deep cold sleep was considered impossible for Ketheri. "Stay with me," Maya whispered, cradling the alien woman against her chest. She activated her suit's external heating elements and wrapped them both in thermal blankets, creating a cocoon of warmth. Hours passed as the storm intensified outside. The shelter's walls rattled against hurricane-force winds. Maya dozed intermittently, always waking to check on her companion. During one check, she noticed Velarix's eyelids flickering. "Can you hear me?" Maya asked, gently brushing ice crystals from the Ketheri's face. Velarix's eyes opened slowly, luminous silver-blue irises expanding in the dim light. She stared at Maya with incomprehension, then fear. "You're safe," Maya said softly. "I found you in the ice. My name is Maya Reeves, Human Diplomatic Security." Velarix's lips moved, forming words in her native language before switching to the diplomatic common tongue. "I should be dead." "Not today," Maya replied with a small smile. "Can you tell me your name?" "Velarix," she whispered, junior envoy to the cultural exchange. Her eyes widened suddenly. "The others?" "Your delegation evacuated before the storm hit. You were the only one missing." Velarix's body trembled violently, and Maya pulled her closer, wrapping her arms around the Ketheri's slender frame. To Maya's surprise, Velarix didn't resist, but instead pressed herself against Maya's warmth. "My people, we do not survive the great cold sleep," Velarix murmured against Maya's neck. "When body temperature falls beyond threshold, we do not return." "Human stubbornness," Maya said with a gentle laugh. "We don't always accept the impossible." As the night wore on, Velarix's strength gradually returned. Maya shared her ration packets and heated water. The Ketheri watched Maya's every movement with fascination, especially the casual way the human touched her. Adjusting blankets, checking her temperature, supporting her when she tried to sit up. "Your kind touches so freely," Velarix observed, her voice stronger now. "Among Ketheri, touch is ceremonial, reserved." Maya nodded. "Humans need touch. It helps us heal, connects us." Velarix hesitantly raised her hand, fingers hovering above Maya's cheek. "May I?" Maya nodded, and Velarix's cool fingers traced the contours of her face with a scientist's precision and a poet's wonder. "Warm," she whispered, "like a star burning beneath your skin." Outside, the storm began to subside, but inside the shelter, something extraordinary was taking root between human and Ketheri. A connection neither had anticipated, born in the most unlikely circumstances. The storm subsided by morning, but rescue remained impossible until the diplomatic vessels could navigate the moon's volatile atmosphere. Maya and Velarix settled into an unexpected period of isolation, their emergency shelter becoming a unique space for cultural exchange. "Your people ventured into space before developing climate control technology?" Velarix asked, incredulous, as Maya shared stories of early human space exploration. "Determination often outruns our technological advancement," Maya explained. "It's a human trait, sometimes a flaw." Velarix considered this. The Ketheri would call this recklessness, but perhaps there is value in it. As they conversed, Maya noticed Velarix gradually moving closer. The Ketheri no longer flinched when their hands accidentally touched. By the second day, she had begun initiating contact. Brief touches to emphasize points in conversation. "Among my people, physical closeness implies profound intimacy," Velarix explained when Maya asked about Ketheri customs. "Reserved for life bonds or close family. Your casual touches are revolutionary to me." "I can stop if it makes you uncomfortable," Maya offered. "No," Velarix replied quickly. "It is educational." They exchanged stories of their respective worlds, Maya describing Earth's oceans and forests, Velarix explaining the crystalline architecture of Ketheri cities built within ice mountains. They discovered shared values: Both cultures cherished knowledge and artistic expression, though in vastly different forms. When night fell again, they lay side by side in the confined space. Velaric studied Maya's face in the dim emergency lighting. "I have never been this close to another being who was not Ketheri," she admitted. "Your body radiates heat in a way that defies our understanding of biological systems." "Human metabolism runs hot," Maya said with a smile. "Useful in situations like this." Velarix's hand found Maya's in the darkness. "I would have died without your warmth," she said softly. "My people have a saying. To share warmth is to share life." I did not understand its true meaning until now. The touch of their hands lingered, neither pulling away. Maya felt a strange tingling where their skin connected, something beyond normal tactile sensation, as if the Ketheri's biochemistry created a subtle energy exchange. As sleep approached, Velarix hesitantly moved closer, her body aligning with Maya's. "For warmth," she whispered, but both knew it was something more, a bridge forming between two vastly different beings. 3 days after the storm, the communication systems in Maya's suit finally crackled to life. Rescue was imminent. As they packed up the emergency shelter, a strange melancholy settled between them. "What happens when we return?" Velarix asked, her voice uncharacteristically uncertain. "The diplomats will be overjoyed to find you alive," Maya replied, though she understood the deeper question. When the human shuttle appeared overhead, reality rushed back. Medical teams swarmed them at the landing site, separating them immediately. Maya caught glimpses of Velarix being examined by Ketheri physicians, their expressions a mixture of disbelief and scientific curiosity. Director Harlow confronted Maya as medics checked her for exposure injuries. "You disobeyed direct orders, Reeves. Put yourself and potentially the entire mission at risk." "I saved a life, sir." "A life our own people considered already lost," Harlow countered, but without real anger. "The Ketheri diplomatic lead is calling it a miracle. Apparently, no one has ever recovered from deep, cold sleep before." Later, Maya found herself summoned to a formal gathering. The Ketheri ambassador, a tall, imposing figure named Gentar, addressed her directly. "Lieutenant Commander Reeves, you have challenged our most fundamental understanding of our own physiology," he stated. "Velarix's recovery is unprecedented." Maya searched the gathered Ketheri for Velarix but couldn't locate her. "Is she well?" "She undergoes extensive examination," Gentar replied. "Her experience may revolutionize our emergency medical protocols." That night, unable to sleep, Maya walked the perimeter of the human compound. A shadow detached itself from the building. Velarix, wrapped in traditional Ketheri robes. "I escaped my observers," she said with a hint of mischief. "They treat me as a laboratory specimen rather than a person." They walked together under Nevera's 3 moons, their breath-forming crystalline clouds in the cold air. "My superiors wish to establish a joint research initiative," Velarix explained, "to study interspecies biological compatibility. They believe your human warmth triggered a regenerative process in my cells." "And what do you believe?" Maya asked. Velarix stopped, turning to face her. "I believe there was something more. Something they cannot measure with instruments." Her hand reached for Maya's, that now familiar tingle passing between them. "Among Ketheri, there is a concept called resonance, when two beings' life energies align in harmony. It is rare, even among our own kind. Under the alien moons, their fingers intertwined, a bridge between worlds neither had imagined crossing." 6 months later, Maya stood on the observation deck of the Terran Ketheri research station, watching Nevera's swirling atmosphere below. The joint venture had grown beyond initial expectations, with both species contributing technologies and knowledge. Contemplating the view again, Velarix's voice came from behind her. The Ketheri woman moved with newfound confidence, her position elevated from junior envoy to cultural liaison officer. "Just thinking about how unlikely all this is," Maya replied. "One rescue in a storm, and now we have the most successful interspecies collaboration in human history." Velarix moved beside her, close enough that their arms touched, a gesture that still raised eyebrows among other Ketheri. Our scientists have an explanation. They call it crisis catalyst theory, that extreme circumstances can accelerate evolutionary and diplomatic progress. Very scientific, Maya said with a smile. Is that what you call this? She gestured between them. What we have defies their categories, Velarix replied. She reached up, tracing the now familiar path along Maya's cheek. The exchange program has approved my request for Earth assignment. Maya's heart quickened. When? Next month. I am to study human social structures firsthand. A smile played at the corners of her mouth. I requested a specific cultural guide. Their relationship had evolved cautiously, navigating physical differences and cultural expectations. The Ketheri concept of resonance had provided a framework for understanding their connection, a harmony of energies rather than conventional attraction. Their first kiss had been an experiment in interspecies biochemistry that left Maya's lips tingling for hours. Earth is much warmer than you're used to, Maya warned, taking Velarix's hands in hers. I have developed an appreciation for warmth, Velarix replied. The crystalline patterns along her arms glowed faintly where they touched, a visible manifestation of resonance that fascinated xenobiologists from both species. Later that night, in the privacy of Maya's quarters, Velarix pressed herself against the human's body, their forms fitting together despite their differences. What had begun as survival had transformed into something unprecedented, intimate knowledge of another species not through clinical study, but through emotional and physical connection. My people have a new saying, Velarix whispered. To know true warmth is to be forever changed. Maya's fingers traced the luminescent patterns on Velarix's skin, creating waves of light that followed her touch. And what do humans say? That sometimes you have to get lost in a storm to find your way home. As they embraced, two bodies from different worlds generating a shared warmth, ambassadors of a new frontier in understanding, not just between their species, but between assumptions and possibilities, between the known and the unexplored. Around the research station, Nevera's storms continued their eternal cycle, ice crystals forming and dissolving in endless patterns. But within its walls, something entirely new had taken root and flourished, proof that even across the vast differences of evolution and origin, connection could spark in the most unexpected circumstances, and warmth could be found in the coldest places in the universe.